Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to this space. Are you new? Welcome. Have you been here before? Thank you so much for stopping by one more time. So today we're talking November decks and intentions. I've got a lot of decks here. I've got a lot of intentions, and November's a bit of a short month, is it not? It is. So with that being said, and with no more ado, let's jump in. Okay, so I've got all the decks and all the tools forward that I need to show you today, I think. There are going to be some decks I'm showing you in more detail and others that have appeared in my October favourites that I won't be showing so much, or yeah, going too deeply into. I'm going to link my October favourites in the description box, so go take a look at that if you would like to. Otherwise, you're probably wondering why you're looking at a Cluedo board. Well, that is an excellent question. Let's get into it. Now, I've spoken about the Cluedo board previously on my channel, and I used to play Cluedo as a child. I received a Cluedo board when I was about 8 years old or something, and my family and I used to play it, Christmas and birthdays and things like that. And I used to love Cluedo, and I think that's where my love for murder mystery came from, actually, from the beginning, and why I love Agatha Christie so much. And I was feeling really drawn to purchase a second-hand Cluedo board for my inner child altar. And then at the beginning of October, my inner mausoleum started coming through. This concept of my inner mausoleum that needed to be opened up, aired out, and the ghosts that were like hiding or haunting that inner mausoleum that needed to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Discovered or explored is what I'm going to say. And when this started coming through, I suddenly got the inspiration to use this Cluedo board as a tool to help me with this inner mausoleum work. So I do understand that a mausoleum doesn't have like a dining room and a kitchen and a ballroom, but I think I'm going to use the Cluedo board to go from room to room in my mausoleum, as it were, using tarot and oracle, and create a dialogue around the ghosts that are haunting my inner mausoleum. These are two artworks that I created sometime through October. I showed them my October reflections, or my October favourites. And obviously, they're going to appear here again because it's all quite relevant to what's happening in November for me. Gordon Bennett, I'm getting mixed up with my months. So let's start. I think we should start with this beauty. Let's pop this out of the way. And let's kind of start with this beauty. So this is a card stand that I purchased. I think I purchased it from secondhand from eBay. Oh, maybe like 2 years ago or something like that. And usually I have all my decks in my tarot cart, which sits on my left-hand side at my desk, so I can just like pull out the decks I want. But in October, I was using so many decks, and I just was like pulling them intuitively, like, I'm doing a reading, I'm in the middle of a reading, and I decided to pull out the Deviant Moon, and I started using this one. And then I had another question, and I really felt drawn to pull out the Haunted House Tarot. And instead of having all these decks actually I did have all these decks piling up around me on my desk. It looked like a tower situation, honestly, I kid you not. And then I've got the guidebook sitting beside me on the right hand side, for instance, and all these decks, I had no space on my desk. So I decided to pull forward this again, which I'd kind of stopped using, and have all the decks in it that are relevant to this practice. So with that being said, let's get into the decks. The Tarot of Haunted House, I showed this in my October reflections or favourites. This is going to be used again. Deviant Moon. Begrudgingly, it doesn't want to, but it is going to work with me whether it likes it or not. Dancing in the Dark Tarot. This really speaks to me of my inner mausoleum. The darkness going on in the background, and these like illuminated figures. It almost feels like the illuminated ghosts that I need to discover and explore within my mausoleum. So this is going to be used. Tarot V. Oh my goodness me, I'm having such a love affair with this deck. I love the edging that I did, gorgeous, and I love this deck. So enjoy it. I think I mentioned in my October reflections that this is like, I think it's one of my favourite decks in my collection currently, and it's like I think it's one of the most important decks in my collection as well, actually, in my practice right now, because it's really helping me with this shadow work that I'm doing. So that's that one. Let's pop this back in here so I've actually got some space on my board so I can continue showing you the decks. The Magic of You Oracle. This was a deck that I pulled forward, but I didn't get a chance to work with it in October. This is a mass market deck. I've had this one for about a little bit over 2 years, I think, and I've always used it for shadow work. I've previously paired this one with the Dreamkeeper's Tarot, and I used that for shadow work. And actually, quite interestingly, I also paired it a couple of months ago with BoDleasons Tarot. That worked really, really well as well. This kind of gives me, it's very haunting images, I think, and I feel that's why this is going to work for the ghosts that I'm exploring. There's another word that's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, no, it's on the tip of my tongue and it's going to stay there because I can't think of the word. Maybe I'll think of it in editing. But I think it really speaks to the work that I'm doing with my inner ghosts. We've got the Witch Oracle, which actually made an appearance last month in October. I didn't show this on my October favourites because I had so many decks I wanted to show you. And I had also, what's the word? I had also done an October catch-up, and I think I mentioned this deck in that video as well. So I didn't want to be like, you know, repeat, like a broken record. So this is definitely going to be a deck that's going to be appearing. I paired this one with the Black Velvet Tarot, which I really enjoyed. I did also pair it with the Tarot V. This is the Black Velvet Tarot. These are the backs. These are the fronts, and because it's black and this one's black and white, it kind of lends itself to the black, white, and red of the Witch Oracle deck as well. I really enjoyed working with this one. Love this image. So good. This kind of felt, the other decks were quite heavy. This was also like a shadow work deck for me, which I was quite surprised about, but it somehow like neutralised, can I use that word? It neutralised the reading for me in some way. That sounds weird. Can I explain that in a different way? So, you know, with these intense messages that are coming through on these other decks, when I pulled this one out, although it was also, you know, a very truthful deck, I want to say like it dampened the message in some way, but not in a diluting the message, but kind of just making it a bit easier to hear. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, really enjoyed this one. As well as using the Black Violet Tarot, I also paired the Black Violet Tarot with this one as well, and this was the Soul Mirror Oracle. What a journey I've had with this deck. Let's pop this out of the way so I can show you. What a journey. This deck, I've also mentioned this previously as well. This is a reading that I did, which kind of ended up with this artwork. These are edged or gilded out the box. The guidebook is really, really good. Love the art style. I love that it's like a reserved colour palette again. And as I mentioned, you know, once October hit, it was like a switch had been flicked, and I really wanted to bring out all my like calmer colour palette decks, or more reserved colour palette decks, I want to say, or maybe even the darker decks, but I mean darker as in like the aesthetics and the colour palettes. So this one was so good, and although it's a truthful deck, but it's very supportive in its messages. The guidebook is really good. Should I grab the guidebook? It is here. Here's the guidebook for you, and you've got a bit of a picture with the guidebook. You've got the keyword, and you've got like the you know, you've got curiosity, bored or curious. it's like two, what's the word? Two sides of the same coin almost. You've got a little bit of a message, then you've got a longer message, and then you've got a reflection, which you can use, which I've been using to draw more tarot. Actually, is what I've been doing to kind of delve deeper into the message of the original card. So that is pretty much my plan with my inner mausoleum and exercising the ghosts that are hiding out in my mausoleum. I think those are most of the decks I'm planning on using for the month of November. Now moving on to the, which I feel all goes hand in hand anyway, but moving along to this artwork which I created with this shadow figure that was kind of, you know, appearing and then disappearing and appearing and disappearing. I'm going to be working with inviting my monster to tea, inviting this figure to tea with me. Now I had an epiphany at the end of October with this artwork. I initially thought this artwork, I initially assumed this was a mirror when I created the artwork. I thought this was a mirror that was showing me this shadow part of myself. And then I had an epiphany with this card from the Tarot of Haunted House, which kind of made me think of like a threshold or a doorway or this liminal space, what made me think of that this was suddenly a liminal space and not the mirror that I thought in the beginning. So another intention for November is to invite this, I'm going to say monster in very, you know, very loose terms, and to find out what this facet of self needs to tell me as well. With that thought of the liminal space or the doorway or the threshold, I'm also going to be using Divine Doors. I purchased this in October. This is a deck that I'm going to continue to use in November, and I showed this in my last video. It's, you know, all different doors with messages on the back. Let's pull a card, shall we? What message do I need to see right now? What message do I need to see right now? I usually wait for a jumper, which we're not going to get because, you know, I'm on camera. And that's usually what happens, is it not? We're going to take this one because it kind of wants out. Can you see that? I hope so. Whoops, can you see that better? Gordon Bennett. The art of life. There's no sacred light in the aura of an invisible life. Be bold in your skin. Let your love dance in sight. Oh, I like that. Anywho, yes, that was by the by. So this is like a continuation, I feel, of the ghosts in the mausoleum and the mausoleum coming down. Going back to the Tarot V, I feel that there's a fallen angel facet, which I feel is also in connection with this. It's all connected. There's a red thread running all the way through all of this, I feel. And so I'm going to be exploring that as well in November. So that's that. So we've got my shadow self, my fallen angel facet. And when I was thinking about my fallen angel facet, I was thinking about like I can't think how I started thinking about it. I think I was thinking about like ancestral patterns and, you know, beliefs that I've had from an early age based around how I've grown up and how my family unit is set up, and looking, you know, back to the past. And I was thinking about this almost like code of conduct that I've lived by, which has been kind of formed through what I've experienced as a young child and growing up. And I was thinking about this, I want to say like personal gnosis, you know, these thoughts and ideas I've had about, you know, what I can allow into my life and what I'm not willing to accept. And as I mentioned, the code of conduct that I've lived by. And I started thinking about blowing that code of conduct apart, completely apart, with the thought in the mind that I've gotten quite a few Tower cards this last month or so. I'm working with the inner mausoleum, And so I was, you know, in the middle of a spread, and I was so hungry. So I dashed off to the kitchen, and I wanted to do something that was really fast, that I could just, you know, eat quickly and then carry on with my reading, because I was so engrossed in it. And I was throwing some soup noodles in water, and this is very random, but that's the way I roll. And the Starman Tarot jumped into my mind. So I dashed back into my tarot room and pulled this deck out. And this is a deck that I've had for a long time. I've never used it because it feels so chaotic to me. It feels like there's so much going on. It almost feels like a tower moment. When I've reflected on it and I got it out, I was like, my goodness me, there is so much going on. It does feel like a tower moment. And I think that's why I haven't felt drawn to use it, I think. But this really felt relevant with me trying to blow my whole personal gnosis apart. And this kind of felt like this was the deck to help me do that. So I kind of asked the deck if it could help me with that, and it pulled out the Alchemist, which is the Magician, and the Two of Cups, which was two figures sitting in front of a wall which was being broken down, which is also very interesting, with the whole thought of, you know, getting to the bones of the matter, and, you know, exercising these ghosts that are hiding in a mausoleum. So to me, this deck felt like it was the right deck to choose. And I was, you know, I was kind of looking at the cards, and I was looking at the backs, and I was looking at the cards again, and the word Matrix jumped into my mind, because the backs totally remind me of, like, the Matrix. I don't know why, but it just does. And I started to research the word, the Matrix. And I did some, like, you know, some quick Googling on it. And the Matrix in Latin means mother. And in, like, archaic Latin, it means uterus, which I thought was really interesting. It's like this, you know, this portal that, not portal, but like this darkness, this time out, this pause, this, you know, in this suspended cocoon almost, which got me kind of thinking about like kind of this liminal space again, this threshold, this doorway, this portal. A bit more research into the word matrix, and it was I read here that the word usually refers to a situation or set of conditions in which something develops, which kind of spoke to me again of this code of conduct that I've been living by, which is based upon the way I've grown up and what experience I've had and what I've learned during the time when I was growing up. And so I kind of decided that this is also something I'm going to be looking at in November, with my own personal, I'm going to call it like a personal gnosis, or like, what else could I, yeah, code of conduct, or code that I live by. And I want to blow that apart, because there are some beliefs and some rigid expectations that I have of myself that need to be let go of. So I feel all this it goes hand in hand. This shadow figure, this shadow work, this inner mausoleum. So basically, it would have been much quicker if I'd just said to you at the start of the video that I'm working with shadow work in November. Bish bash bosh. Thank you for watching and goodbye. Unfortunately, I didn't do that, but I'm saying it now. So that's where we are. Yeah, other intentions for November. I'm going to be working with, let's just grab some other bits and pieces here. Let's move this out of the way. Let's do that, and let's do this. Now, I showed this in my October favourites. This is like a little journal I purchased, which came with white gel pens. And originally I was thinking I was going to use it as a sketchbook, but now I'm thinking I'm going to use it for my mausoleum work and illuminating or exercising these ghosts that are, like, you know, haunting my inner mausoleum, which need to be released, exercised and let go of. And then I also mentioned this, which I purchased when I went away with a friend. And this is a slate. It's actually a slate serving tablet, I'm going to say. But I thought this would be perfect for sigil work. And when I'm working with my inner mausoleum, bear with me now, I've purchased Jenga, the game Jenga, and I'm going to write all the things that I need to release on this Jenga. Is it called Jenga? I think it's called Jenga. On these Jenga pieces, build them up, and what's the word I'm looking for? And almost as a representation of the things I want to release, to let go of, to let collapse. I'm going to knock this tower down, and then I'm going to rebuild it with the things that I want to embrace and the things that I want to focus on. And my plan is to use this with sigil work on my super duper slate board that I'm going to be using chalk sigils on. Does that make sense? So that's my plan for November. That's my intention. That's some spell work I'm going to be going into. Other intentions, well, obviously I'm going to be working with Dawn Michelle's Fellowship of the Weavers practice. That goes without saying. If I get the chance and if I have time, because obviously November is a short month, I'm going to be continuing with my Alice practice. That took a bit of a back seat at the end of October. I'm not sure if it's going to, peek its head up in November. We shall have to see. So I'll be diving into the Alice in Wonderland book, which is sitting on my altar currently, and I'll be pulling in these two decks. This deck speaks to me of portals, which I mentioned before. So we shall have to see. It all sounds a bit woo-woo as usual, does it not? It really does. But I think that's pretty much what I'm up to in November. What say you? What are your plans for November? Let me know if they're as woo-woo as mine. You don't have to go into them if you don't want to, but just let me know. Do you find yourself thinking, oh my Gordon Bennett, if I actually told people this, they would think I was so woo-woo? Let me know in the comment section. Yeah, otherwise, thank you for, staying in the course. I do appreciate that sometimes it's like, it's out there. It's totally out there. I get it. It's out there for me as well. But I'm still hanging on. I'm still doing it because I want to continue on this self-development or this healing path, and I want to stop my self-sabotager from holding me back. So I'm really trying to show these parts of myself, these shadow parts of myself, love and compassion as much as I possibly can, and not be fearful of what I don't understand and what I don't know. Hence the reason that we're on this mausoleum, inner shadow figure, fallen angel path for November. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Take care, and I really hope to see you in the next video. Toodaloo.